Okay. All right.
Obviously, she doesn't want to do this. Even on these days, guys, let me just come on, bring the camera closer.
You're sweating.
Even on these days, okay, dang, you ain't gotta tell everybody. Even on these days, you gotta push through and you have to just get it done. Right, Rael? Okay. See? There you go. Gotta push through, right? All right. So you gotta push through, get it done, and this is what we're doing here because every day is not gonna be perfect. Right?
Sure.
This is the Ray and Danny Show. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you guys really enjoyed the card game. We did the couples card game. That was fun, right?
It was fun.
Yeah, I had a good time. I felt like I learned a lot about her. Stuff I already knew, though. You know, we know each other pretty much. And that leads us into our topic today, relationships in your field.
Yep.
Let's just take a pause real quick and just say, please, if you have a relationship in your field and you work at the same job, this is not an opportunity to jump in and have relationships with people in the workplace. So let's just pause there. You've got to take some time to enjoy the relationship outside of the workplace, because in the workplace, you can get fired.
Yeah, that's why you meet somebody in your field, but not at your job.
Yeah, I mean, you can meet somebody at your job. I feel like there's no problem with that, but just don't tell everybody, man. Like, keep it on the low. I mean, whose phone is that? Guys, we're rolling. Didn't I tell you guys to mute your phones? It's actually just us. But the most important thing I feel like is you gotta be sure to not get so serious and engulfed in your relationship at work, because people will inquire and people will they'll try to undermine you. Really, they'll probably go to the boss and say, hey Google, stop please. Thank you. It's just everything. See, this is what I mean. We got to be focused, right?
So, in focusing, Raymond and I are in the same field. We're both in the arts.
Yeah.
We met doing theater, which transitioned into film and television. And I think we spoke about in maybe one of our earlier videos about how we met. Raymond was an actor in one of my shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually sought him out because I seen him in previous shows. And I remember early on, like, I knew he was an actor and I knew he could sing, but I didn't know all of his talents. So I was producing a play one day and I was trying to make original music, and I was just on GarageBand trying to mix some beats, which I'm not savvy in at all. It was just like I was trying to figure it out, and it was generic as possible. And Raymond was like, "Oh, I can make some songs for you. I can edit them." And like, it was taking me like days to do this, and I was like, "Hold on, what?"
Yeah.
Because I hadn't even asked him. I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure this out." He was like, "Oh yeah, I do that." And I was like, You know how to make beats? You know how to implement, different recordings and sounds I have? And he was like, yeah, like, and he just sat right there and did it. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I've done this for a while, and I feel like, hey, I'm in this industry. I'm doing film and things like that. I feel like I need to know audio, and over the years I've just been working on it. And I feel like it definitely was a benefit to her, and I feel like, wow, like I didn't even know one day this would be so beneficial to somebody that I would be marrying them, right?
Right. And like, so in doing that show, he took over all the technical aspects of doing the sound design for me. And so it took a load off of me doing that. And that was something that I was not skilled in, but he was. And then as we move forward, I was producing a show, a children's television show. So I'm more trained in writing and directing. Raymond came in and ended up being the assistant. What is it? assistant director of photography, and he edited and scored the entire series. And it was just like,
we're gonna tag it into this video. Please go check out Puddle Grove, guys. Great series.
Yeah, and by him editing and scoring the series,
saved a lot of money.
It saved tons of money, and it was like we were already in a relationship, so it was like
it was a no-brainer.
It was like we didn't have to schedule meetings because we were already together.
Yeah,
like,
and I feel like when it comes down to that, it saved her a lot of money. And the type of work that I did, that costs about $5,000 to $10,000. As a couple, when you're working, we work together great. And I think that is the best thing about being in a relationship and in the same field. It's like the person you're with can already kind of flow with you. They know when you're getting annoyed. They know when you're getting aggravated. Hey, it looks like you need to take a step away. Go ahead and walk for a second and come back into it. And I think that's a great thing. It's a great emotional balance to have when you know that your partner is probably getting a little annoyed, or even if they're overly joyed and overly happy, to calm them down a bit. I mean, I think it's an amazing thing. Even the show that we did, it was in
Rahway.
So I feel like it was
Rahway,
Union County Performing Arts Center. That's it.
Yeah, that was it.
So
Raymond stage managed the show.
Yep. And I think it was
sound designed it.
It was so phenomenal.
I also wanted to add, like, for instance, so Raymond does for our church, we go to a really large, known well church, and well-known church.
That's okay.
And he directs the what do you call it?
I direct cameras, so it's like Black Magic cameras, basically the switcher director.
He directs the cameras on Sundays, so therefore we have to be there 2 hours ahead of time.
Yeah. So
instead of service starts at 10, we have to be there at 8 a.m. so that he can get his crew.
An hour before 9 o'clock.
Well, it used to be earlier. Well, we had to leave the house at 8. Let's put it like that.
Because where we live the church is.
We live a distance, so we have to leave the house at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So, needless to say is, because I'm in the industry, it doesn't bother me that we have to be there ahead of time to prepare and prep, for him to direct. Now, I don't know, it could be different.
If she was a lawyer, it would be like the weekend work.
Yeah, like
nah. I only work Monday through Friday. My clients come in, they see me. And I feel like when you are dealing with somebody who's in the industry, it takes a load off, because you're not worrying about what is this person doing at this time, at this hour, with this person, with this female, taking pictures of her, videos of her. Danielle's not thinking that. She's like, he's getting that bag. And I mean, of course, that's a whole different subject with trust. But I feel like when you know what your partner does and you know what type of work it takes into it, because it could take somebody a whole day to film, especially being an entrepreneur, because not only am I a business owner and entrepreneur, but I work a job. Like, I have media, like I'm in my field working. So when it comes down to that, on the entrepreneur side and business side, there are people who need videos, different things, different captures, social media videos. So when I'm doing that, it may be with somebody, whereas somebody who's a little, I would say, working in another field probably wouldn't understand.
Yeah, so it's like I understand when I go with him on gigs and I might be there the whole day. I already understand.
Yeah,
and I know we're going to be there ahead of time, and we're going to be there way after the time to break down or just get some extra shots. And that does not bother me.
It doesn't bother her because we go on expensive dates to expensive places and can go places.
No, because we're in the same field and I understand. That's why.
But I feel like it's important to date in your field. If you date outside of your field, we're not knocking that. We're not saying that you shouldn't. But there are benefits of dating in your field, as us an example.
Yeah.
And I think when you date in your field, just be very clear on your intentions. I feel like, to wrap up, we can talk about our intentions. Like, my intentions for you, I really wasn't looking for anything. And I feel like she told me she wasn't looking for anything. But I knew in my next relationship, I didn't want it to be just nothing. I didn't want it to be another boyfriend and girlfriend type situation. I wanted to be engaged. I didn't want to go through this stage, because I was going into being 22. I'm like, I'm 21. Some people would say that's young and that's a little ambitious to start dating.
It is
but
young.
I feel like that's the perfect time. That, for me, is the perfect time. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. You know, he slipped some notes in there and let me like there are some things that Kevin said that really enlightened me. It's like you should not wait to get mad. What are we waiting for? What are we taking our time for? And I feel like that's some things that some younger people need to learn. Like we can't.
Everybody's different though.
Exactly.
You got to go at your own pace.
And I feel like for this show, even watching this show, you can watch a different show and somebody can say something different. It's whatever you feel is good for you. But I do feel like you should at least think about the idea of getting married or getting yourself together if you're looking to move your life forward. Now,
what's different with Raymond, like what's so interesting is I always said that I would never marry somebody in my field because I was like, I would never be with an actor. You know, I just thought that it would not work for some reason, maybe because of past situations or just seeing how some industry people could be. I'm like, yeah, no. Ta-da. I'm gonna be with somebody that is probably, I don't know, a bioengineer or somebody that's in history or something. I just didn't think that it would mesh. But I'm glad that I was proven wrong.
I love you.
Love you too.
We got these God in Therapy shirts too, by the way. Shout out to Michelle Hardy. Please go pick some of these up. I really love this. God in Therapy. We all need God in Therapy. And I will say, in your field as well, or even if you're not in your field, as a couple, you need both of these. God and therapy. Therapy is super important. And I feel like you really should get into it. What do you think about therapy?
We could talk about that in another episode.
Wow, I think that'll be our next episode. What do you think?
Possibly.
Okay, possibly.
We'll see.
Sheesh. All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. I'm Ray.
And I'm Danny.
And we'll see you next week. Peace. Hey guys, don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and share. And we'll see you next week on
The Danny and Ray Show.